I'm sick of people online. It was always one of them when I left Unicorns to go to Shot. Oh, you should never have done that. You changed your diet. You've done this. You've done that. And it wasn't. For years, maybe 4 or 5 years, been struggling with my hand. And I never ever made it public. And after the Masters,
Michael Smith, known to fans as Bully Boy, is a storm of emotion, pressure, and fire. But even for a world-class competitor, sometimes the weight of the moment boils over.
Yeah, I've had the cortisone on my wrist at the minute. My shoulder's still in a bad place, but wrist is getting there. But yeah.
What followed a stunning comeback in Munich was an outburst that silenced the crowd and shook the darts world. What really happened after the win, and why did Smith issue a public apology that has everyone talking? Bully Boy gave fans an unforgettable show, coming back from 5-2 down to beat Daniel Close in the European Darts Grand Prix. He didn't give up, fought hard to tie the match 5-5, and finished it off in style with a D10 checkout. The crowd went wild as he shouted in celebration. But right after that, things took a surprising turn. Still full of adrenaline, Michael Smith threw a dart at the board from close range. Not out of joy, but out of frustration. The dart hit so hard it broke the board and knocked the number ring off.
Michael Smith has done it! It was not pretty, he's nearly demolished the board!
The moment shocked fans, and it didn't take long for Smith to speak up. With a big match coming up against either Luke Humphries or Connor Scott, he made a public apology. "I would like to apologize for my attitude in that game. There's no excuse, but my head is fried." Smith gave fans a raw look into what he's been dealing with behind the scenes. "From struggling the way I am with my shoulder and wrist," he shared, to last night getting a phone call off my wife and kids crying as they thought our dog was dying. What followed was a stressful late-night dash to the emergency vet and hours spent awake trying to comfort his family. "She looked possessed," he said. "Her legs weren't working and her head was twisting like a bird with bird flu. Thankfully, the dog is doing better now and the family knows what was wrong." But the emotional toll clearly weighed on Smith heading into the match. He ended his statement with a hopeful note. "But we go again tomorrow now with a clear head, hopefully, and a better and more mature performance. So once again, I apologize." Earlier this year, the 2023 world champion revealed he's battling arthritis in his throwing hand, his right hand. It's the kind of news that hit fans hard, especially after watching him lift the world title in what many called one of the greatest moments in darts history. But since that peak, his form has dipped, and now we know why. After a tough first-round exit at the revamped World Masters, Smith opened up about the condition. He said he decided to go public to put an end to the speculation surrounding his recent performances, especially after being left out of the Premier League and World Series lineups this season. "I'm going to see a specialist," he said at the time, already dealing with both the arthritis and a nagging shoulder injury. Michael Smith let the world into his pain, both physical and emotional. Frustrated by whispers that he was finished or that something was off, the 34-year-old took to X to set the record straight. "Feel like this needed to be said," he wrote. "I've had a grade 2 AC shoulder injury for the last 6 weeks and been getting physio every 2 to 3 days, but I've also been fighting something else for years. That something else is no small matter. After breaking both wrists at 19, the long-term toll has finally caught up with him, resulting in arthritis in his throwing hand. It's a brutal diagnosis for anyone, let alone a darts professional. Still, Smith made one thing very clear. This is about honesty. I played a world final with a broken hand. I made a UK Open final with a hole in my groin. I've won Pro Tours and Euros while dealing with ankle issues. I've never quit." The reason he kept quiet before? Fear. "I was scared of losing the Premier League or World Series spots, but I wasn't picked anyway, so why not now?" He's due to see a specialist soon and promises to keep fans in the loop. And with the fire still burning, Smith signed off with a vow. "I'll never let anything beat me, and I promise I'll be back very, very quickly." And Smith's 3-1 loss to Dutchman Danny Noppert on Thursday was another tough pill to swallow. On a night where the sport's biggest names, Luke Humphries, Josh Rock, Stephen Bunting, Gerwin Price, and Peter Wright, all sailed through to the next round, Smith's early exit stood out like a missed double. But for those who followed his recent struggles, the result was about everything he's carrying behind the scenes. The shoulder injury, the arthritis, the emotional stress, the sleepless nights. He even has another physical setback, his shoulder, and in true Bully Boy fashion, he's not just sitting back and waiting for it to heal. The 2023 world champion suffered the shoulder injury on Christmas Day in what he called a bizarre incident. While full details haven't been made public, the impact was serious enough that Smith described seeing a bone sticking out. It was yet another blow for the 34-year-old, who's already been battling arthritis in his right hand, a condition made worse by the double wrist break he suffered as a teenager. To deal with it, Smith has called in some serious reinforcements. He's now working with Ben Thompson, the performance therapist trusted by Manchester City stars like Erling Haaland and Phil Foden. Thompson's job is to keep Premier League athletes firing at world-class levels, and now help a former world darts champion regain full fitness. It's a bold move, but one that speaks to Smith's refusal to fade quietly. He's training alongside elite footballers, pushing through pain and recovery sessions just hours after Thompson wraps up work at the Etihad. With his top-level support and determination, Michael Smith is setting his sights on making a strong comeback at the UK Open in Minehead tomorrow. Despite the numerous challenges, Smith is pushing forward, ready to face the competition once again. He shared, "I've had cortisone injections in my wrist 3 weeks ago. My hand is fine at the minute. However, it wasn't without its hiccups. It was a bit sore on the joint. First of all, I threw a dart and it missed the board at home and hit the mural I've just painted in my games room, so that was fun." But Smith remains optimistic, adding, "Right now it's fine. For the last week and a half, I've been able to practice for 4 hours a day, which I haven't been able to do for the last 12 weeks. Despite the lingering arthritis pain he's battled for years, Smith is more focused than ever. He admitted the cold temperatures in Minehead are a challenge, especially for someone with his specific injuries. "The worst thing has been going to Minehead because it's so cold there. So many times I've said online that the cold affects me, and everyone says it's the same for all the players. It's not really for me because it gets to my wrist." Michael Smith's injury woes continued to pile up as he opened up about the bizarre accident that led to a serious shoulder injury. "I've got an issue with my right shoulder, that was my own fault," he admitted. The mishap happened on Christmas Day while he was racing his kids on scooters. "I bought the kids 2 scooters. I thought I'd race one of them. I went over what I thought was a puddle. It was actually a pothole. I hit that at 22 miles per hour straight over the handlebars and hit my shoulder into the floor." The injury left him unable to raise his arm for 7 weeks, with a large cut and a bit of bone sticking out. "Even now I've still got a bit of bone sticking out of my shoulder," Smith shared. Despite the setback, he's receiving top-tier care. "I've got one of the best hand people in the country with me, so it's helping me. I've got Man City physio Ben Thompson working with me," he said, explaining that his wife Dagmara met Ben at a previous event. "It's mad that he'll come to me after doing Haaland's legs or Foden's and then be working on my back and shoulders." Ben Thompson has helped Smith through the pain, explaining that his injury is more common in rugby. "It's the joint between your collarbone and shoulder, called the AC joint," Smith clarified. "That's moved and sticks out. I'm told that will never go away now." After a surprising first-round exit at this year's World Darts Championship, Michael Smith was also left out of the Premier League lineup, leading him to publicly reveal the ongoing issues with his arthritis. But despite these setbacks, Smith has never doubted his ability to bounce back. "I've never feared anything," he said with unwavering confidence. "The pain isn't great, but there's nothing that strong painkillers can't help me get through." He went on to explain that arthritis was inevitable after the serious wrist injuries he sustained as a child. "Obviously, I was going to get arthritis after breaking my wrists as a kid," he admitted. "The throw's the same, there's not much I can change, it's just up and down, everything is the same, it's just my head now." Smith acknowledged that his struggle now lies more in his confidence than in his ability to throw darts. "The last 4 Pro Tours weren't the greatest," he admitted, "but I'm still averaging 95 or 96, it's just that winning line now. Just give me one win and I'll be fine." He's been staying sharp by playing online darts with his kids, where he's averaging 100, a sign that his form is slowly returning. "I'm not going to get into the Premier League stuff, so much has already been said online. I've kept quiet about it," he added. Despite the frustrations, he remains focused on his ultimate goal. "The plan is to work harder this year. I've turned down almost every exhibition. The plan is to do 100% PDC." Back in 2021, he recalled the nightmare wrist injury that still haunts him to this day. "Christmas Eve when I was 19, I slipped on the ice, put my hands down and snapped both my wrists," Smith explained. "I was in casts for 5 or 6 months. I couldn't do anything. Showering with 2 casts was the worst." That moment was a pivotal one in Smith's life. His body may have been broken, but his spirit was far from it. His resilience became the cornerstone of his career, helping him push past injuries that would have sidelined many others. Fast forward to 2019, and Smith found himself in his first World Championship final, a moment that should have been the pinnacle of his career. But instead of celebrating, he was forced to fight through more pain, After losing 7-3 to Michael van Gerwen, Smith revealed that he'd injured his hand mid-match in a fit of frustration. "When I was 3-0 down, during the break, I punched the toilet door out the back in frustration," he admitted. "My watch dial button dug into the back of my hand and snapped a bone. I knew I had done some damage straight away because I couldn't clench my hand or hold anything properly." Despite the injury, Smith continued on, even cradling his runner-up trophy under his arm instead of holding it aloft. "I'm just lucky I didn't throw that punch with my right hand. I'm not sure I'd have been able to carry on," he said. Smith's career has been one of grit, heart, and overcoming pain, both physical and emotional. Even when his body broke down, he didn't. And that's the story behind the storm. Michael Smith is fighting his own body, his emotions, and the weight of expectations that come with being a world champion. From broken bones to broken boards, he's shown us that passion isn't always pretty, but it's always real. His outburst in Munich was about pain, about pressure, about being human in front of thousands. And for that, many fans respect him even more. As the bully boy sets his sights on a full comeback, one thing's for sure: you can doubt his form, but never doubt his heart. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Michael Smith's raw honesty makes him more relatable? And if you love stories that go beyond the headlines, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and don't forget to share this with a fellow darts fan.